been working up to this point since July of 2020. All this preparation and change has finally taken us to this point where we set off on our own and actually start our journey sailing full-time as a family. We're leaving, and we're going to do our first sail by ourselves across the Gulf Stream to the Bahamas. It's just about 50 miles, a day sail, but it's more than that to us. It's the real start of this adventure. But as with any adventure, there was some last-minute work that had to be done to make sure it all went smoothly. I got a larger display for the helm, and I set about trying to get the helm cover off. This was the wrong approach, so I asked Tony with Just Cats to help me out. With the right tools and knowing what you're doing, he made it look easy. Before you knew it, the old unit was out, and the hole for the new one was cut. And just like that, we had a new display, which makes things easier to see. Not that there's anything wrong with my eyes, but I am getting up there. We also had to commission the water maker, basically turn it on and go over how it worked and how we should maintain it. This is one of the more crucial parts of our boat. With it, we can make around 20 gallons of fresh water an hour from seawater, and we can run it on the batteries. It's a pretty amazing piece of equipment. It's low maintenance, highly reliable, and can even work manually if you lose the electronics that come along with it. The last thing we did was get our logo put on our bows. Now you can't miss us out there. There's a lot of prep work that goes into provisioning. We aren't going to be out that long, maybe a month. We have to come back here to pick up some things that didn't make it onto the boat, like lithium batteries and a helm enclosure. So we're provisioning for a couple of weeks for the three of us, and we'll re-provision in Nassau around Thanksgiving when the boys come sail with us for a week on their break. That will be a different kind of provisioning. They eat their weight in food every day. I know I've said this before, but the storage on the boat is amazing, and there was plenty of room for everything. Once we got provisioned, it was time to get going. We got off the dock with just a little scrape, and we were headed towards Miami. We wanted to get down there to get another sail under our belts before we crossed to Bimini, which turned out to be a good idea.
Well, we made it out of the marina. This is our first sail by ourselves, and had a few mishaps as we were getting the main up. We lost some of our knowledge, but we got it back, and we got the main up, and Jenna was out, and we're cruising along. Not making great speed, but we just need to be down to the entrance of the Port of Miami around 6 o'clock, and that gives us enough daylight to go. We're going to go to the Marine Stadium, Anchorage, where we've anchored once before. The plan is to anchor there tonight, wake up at the crack of dawn, and go ahead and head across to Bimini. The weather window is just tomorrow, and then we will be stuck here for a week or more. So we got to go ahead and get over there now because there's a cold front coming down. Anyway, mix of emotions today. That feeling, I was telling Aaron, the feeling is like before a football game or going and talking to a crowd of people. It's you get butterflies in your stomach when you're leaving, and hopefully that'll go away after we get more used to this. So that was unsettling, and then struggling with getting the main up. That wasn't a big deal. We just forgot this step, but we're out here. We're on our way. So.
We really needed to watch the weather closely. It looked like there was a window where we could cross, and the models all seemed to be agreeing. But we checked every couple of hours just to make sure things stayed right. Crossing looked great for Wednesday, but after that was up in the air. The weather didn't look good to move on from Bimini, so we would need to find a safe spot there.
So the other part of this is that it's been a year and 3 months, I think, since we decided to go and do this. And all of that culminates in today. I know we're just sailing a boat, but at the same time, it's a year plus of planning and creative financing and work and coordinating. There's just so many pieces that went into making today happen. So while it might just seem like it's sailing a boat, it's a bigger deal. It's sort of like running a marathon. I've run some marathons, and it's kind of like that. You spend an enormous amount of time getting ready for the event. Now the event's here. The good thing is that this isn't over in 4 hours. This will be ongoing. So, an emotional day, but a good one, a good emotional day. So, off to the Bahamas tomorrow. Pretty excited about that.
That night, we anchored in Marine Stadium. It's a beautiful view of downtown Miami, and tons of boats are blaring music and partying all night. The music you hear is from the boats across the way. It's a fun anchorage, and you should experience it at least once. The next morning, we were up at sunrise to head across, and the weather still looked perfect for it. The music was still going, and we left the anchorage to head through the port of Miami. We headed out the channel and just kept going straight east. As we set course, we were radioed by a boat beside us. They were crossing for their first time, and so we chatted about where we were going and what we were doing. I think it helped set both of our minds at ease.
So that's Miami in the background. We are not coming back here for fun. What do you think?
Very cool.
Any worries?
Sure, there's always worries. Normal concerns.
What are you worried about?
Getting along with everybody.
Our son?
All three of us.
You and I are so nice to each other.
I do worry about kindness.
Yeah.
I do.
It'll be fine. Alright, well, we're free of Miami and we are going across to Bimini. We've got, I don't know, probably 30 nautical miles to go, 35, something like that.
Not bad.
And we'll be there. So, just like this is about the same distance as going from Nassau to New Zealand as well.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
We just have to watch out for giant ships. And that's about it.
I think we'll be able to watch out for giant ships.
Yeah.
Before we knew it, Miami was way off in the distance, and we were in the Gulf Stream. It was a little bouncy, but not bad, and we put the main up just to keep the rolling to a minimum. I keep talking about the Gulf Stream, and if you don't know, it's a huge current that travels south to north, and it's just off the East Coast. Across from Miami, it's about 30 miles wide. The current is moving fast between 3 and 5 knots. This makes your chart all kinds of weird because your boat isn't pointing at your destination, it's pointing ahead of it and accounting for the current. So back to the crossing, this is what it was like the whole time. You watch for other boats, you pay attention, and eventually you get there. Aaron took a nap after watching for a while, and William got some quality TV time in. There were a couple of freighters along the way, but that was about it. And then before we knew it, we saw land. We made it across. We pulled up to the completely empty anchorage, set the hook, and we were done. I went into customs and immigration to check in, came back, and we called it a day. All in all, a great first journey, but we had one more thing to deal with. The next day, the bad weather was coming, and our west-facing anchorage was not going to work at all. So we picked up anchor and headed for the small port in Allenstown. The rain had already started to come in. Now I've docked this boat by myself exactly 0 times, but this is part of what you gotta do. Push yourself out of your comfort zone and learn some new things. I didn't get great video of it, but it was a pretty uneventful docking. Cecil, the guy who worked the dock, had me come bow in because of the current, and there was a lot of it. I ended up spinning the boat around at low tide so we could get on the power. So I got to dock it again. It's the only way to get better. And now we're waiting for the weather to clear up. Our next stop is the Berry Islands. So until next week, thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, just ask in the comments. Oh yeah, one more thing. Remember that anchorage that we figured was going to be bad after the weather moved in? Check this out. We'll see you next week from the berries.